Essa música.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Do We Have Your Attention podcast. I am Paula, and with me is my wonderful co-host, Aisha Popoola.
Hi everyone, we're so excited for today's conversation. We're back. Honestly, Paula, sometimes I feel like dating and relationships are this invisible maze, full of rules nobody ever explained to us. We're just following rules that were put to us, and now we're just following the same rules.
100%. And that is exactly why we are unpacking today those invisible scripts, the unspoken rules about who texts who first, or who texts whom first, who pays for dinner, who leads in a relationship, and why they even exist in the first place.
Exactly. And the thing is, these roles aren't just funny little habits. They shape how we connect, how we show up emotionally, and even how we see ourselves in relationships. So today, we're going to talk about all of that. I'm actually so excited. I'm so excited for this conversation. You know, those subtle expectations, the emotional labor, the leadership dynamics, and the tension between tradition and what we really want.
And since it's just the two of us, and because it's just the two of us, we're keeping it real.
Of course.
We will be reflecting, sharing stories, and hopefully making you think about your own experiences too.
Yes, but you guys already know the drill. Before we dive in, we're going to start with the feelings check-in. Paula B, if you had to pick a color from the feelings wheel to share how you're feeling today, how you feeling?
Girl, I'm struggling.
I second that.
I am struggling. This is going to be one of those episodes where it's either going to be a chaotic disaster or honestly an amazing episode.
We're hoping for the positive because girl, I feel that part. I really feel it.
I'm optimistic. I definitely am a little yellow, but also a little gray. I might be losing my voice.
Oh no.
So I'm going to be speaking from as we're having such an interesting conversation, I'm going to be speaking very soft. Just very gentle, very reflective.
Wait, I kind of like it. I kind of like the softness.
Very demure.
Very demure. Yes, I love it. I kind of like the softness. Yeah.
Low-key, that's the vibe that I'm getting because I have to save my voice. So, all right. So how are you feeling?
Girl, I'm feeling great. Like I'm just there's so many behind the scenes struggle that was happening right now. And I'm trying to just to not let it ruin this conversation. So as much as I'm feeling gray, I'm also feeling green. I'm trying to be green, calm and collected and peaceful. You know,
that's good.
Struggles happen all the time, but you gotta rise. Still we rise.
And still we rise. And of course, for our listeners, take the time to also check in. If you aren't feeling so great, like the two of us today, take it easy on yourself. Be kind to yourself. Maybe channel that softer side of yourself. And let's get into the conversation.
Let's go. So I'm going to ask you this because we talk about, we didn't even say the topic. The topic is gender roles in relationships. When you hear that, because that's a statement that we hear all the time. Honestly, it's a conversation that happens all the time. When you hear that phrase, gender roles in relationships, what immediately comes to mind for you?
Expectations. Societal expectations, to be specific. Societal expectations are placed typically on men and women as to how they perform, or how they show up in relationships. I also find it interesting that I said perform.
Yes.
Clock that.
I love that you said perform because that's really what it's about. You know, everyone's taking up these roles like you're saying, and performing based off the roles that they're expected to.
Yeah. I think of men. So when we say gender roles in relationships as it pertains to men.
Yeah.
The first thing that comes to mind for me is obviously a provider, protector,
Yep.
leader, the decision maker, the one who steers the ship.
Why are you saying
so
it like
to
that?
speak?
Leader.
It sounds sarcastic as
No,
I
it
say
does.
that. I'm sorry. I don't mean it in that way. I just mean more so not sarcastic, not the role being sarcastic,
Right.
but the expectations
right.
are placed. When I think women, gender roles in relationships as it pertains to women, I think nurturer, caretaker, homemaker. The house was just a house and she made it a home.
Oh, wait, got that. You said I hear that a lot. Yep.
The emotional support system. That's what I hear.
Yep.
What do you hear when you what comes to mind when you hear the phrase gender roles in relationships?
You've kind of listed all of it, where in conclusion it's kind of like the man is the leader, the provider, the one who's making all these sacrifices to provide for the family. And the woman is the one that keeps everything calm, nurtures the house, raises the kids. I think sometimes I hear the calm to my storm. You know, people say that. They even say in their captions when they're writing all these things. And like you said, these are just expectations that have been passed down, whether through like family, religion, culture expectations, social media, and you know, if you don't really check in with yourself to see if this is really what you want, it just becomes this role and performance, like you were saying.
And just emphasis on that. If you don't really check in with yourself, if this is what you want, but also if this is who you are, as well, it's very, very easy. But okay. How would you say, so I'll put it, okay, I'll start with this first. When two people start dating, and it often feels like there is an unspoken script, like who texts first, who plans, who pays, who pursues, who, I was going to be funny and shady, but then I was like, no, I'm very soft today. No. There is definitely an unspoken script, and I think in the world we live in today, it's even worse. Where do you think that script actually comes from?
Very good question. I think definitely observation. You know, these are the things that we observe growing up. The man is out the house all day. Sometimes the mother is home taking care of you, being the nurturing one, being the one that you could talk to, share your problems with. But when it comes to like finances and making decisions, you know, it appears so as if like it's the father or the man that's making all of these decisions. So I think that observation, plus also you start becoming conditioned to it. You know, you're also, not only are you observing this, you're seeing it in the media. Like I'm just thinking about all the Nollywood movies I watched that are passing on those messages. And even through that conditioning, I think even your peers start acting that way. Like, you know, you start seeing men act a certain way, or, you know, women act in a certain way. So it just becomes, you just take on the script, I guess, because that's all you know. That's all you know. When you go somewhere else and it's different, you're like, oh, why are they doing this? Sometimes I think you even start criticizing it because you're like, what's going on here? These people don't know what they're doing. And so by the time that you start dating and you start following this conditioned script, consciously or unconsciously, you don't even question it. That just becomes your new norm and you're just comfortable with it. Yeah. What do you think?
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. I just want to even start with that. That media, culture, society, cultural traditions,
religion,
storytelling, religion, influenced by your peers. I would say for me, it was actually more so family modeling. Like it started straight from before social media existed. I already saw this in my familial
dynamic
household. I would say the relationship between my mom and my dad very much so played into gender roles. There were roles that the man, it's so weird saying the man, given that's my father, but there were roles that the man played. There were roles that the woman played, very much so tied into the provider, the protector, the leader.
Yeah.
I would say though, I've seen this happen quite often in African households and also Black households as well, where it seems like the man is the decision maker, but it's really the woman.
Clock that. You better clock that.
Where I would say definitely what may have seemed like my dad was a decision maker was really more so my mom. Definitely the caretaker, the homemaker, the emotional supporter, my mom being the one who typically came to like events,
almost
things
everything,
like that.
right.
That was very aware and knew what was happening in school, knew what was happening with my teachers, knew who my favorite teacher was, knew who was my least favorite teacher. My mom at some point in time also was a mom who carpooled. When I was very young, this was maybe like year 1, year 2 of middle school or elementary school rather. All the kids in the neighborhood were in this big bus.
Oh God.
And she was like the mom who, we all went to the same school, so it was okay, this person, and we all summoned to the bus type of mom, where if I asked my dad maybe when I was a kid, like, who's my favorite teacher, give me the name of one of my teachers, probably like, I don't know. But one thing I do know is what's your school fees, so to speak. So I think I definitely saw that play out. Who earns the money? My dad. Who manages the household? My mom. Who takes care of the children? My mom. Who expresses emotions of vulnerability? I would say, to be honest with you, my dad and my mom. But I would say even my dad. So it's interesting because I grew up with a dad that, and I'm not saying it was the healthiest emotions, I just want to start with that.
Yeah, I was about to say,
not the healthiest emotions. We're just talking more so, if we're talking who were, because typically sometimes they think the leader, the protector, the provider, meaning you are stoic, you're quiet, you stay where you are, you only speak when you need to speak. Right. You only show up when you need to show up.
That's part of the swag.
Not necessarily, even though yes, I had a dad who was very busy, very much occupied at work and his career. I also did have a dad who, like, his emotional experience and whatnot was oftentimes felt in our household as well. So that was the biggest way in which I was exposed to gender roles. Yeah. And for me, obviously, if anyone sees me today and knows me today, they would obviously assume that maybe I grew up in a different household because of how pro-feminism I am, so to speak. Yeah. And then also, obviously, because of a lot of like my ideologies and beliefs. But I do genuinely believe that regardless of family modeling, it can influence and shape your own beliefs around gender roles in many different ways. It doesn't just look one way.
I agree. That observation is so real because, again, you start taking that, it starts conditioning you. You even see that in how like the different genders are raised, like the boys, how they're raised, and then the girls, how they're raised. And, you know, girls are encouraged to share their emotions. Boys are told, oh, you can't do, why are you crying? You know, like you're a boy, you're a big boy. And all of that, once you start taking that into condition, because I feel like expressing your emotions is also a role that you're playing as a man. You gotta, you know, keep it together, keep it calm, keep it collected. When you speak, there's authority, you know. Meanwhile,
but that's actually a really good point. Sorry to interject, because I want to ask you a question just based off of that.
Yeah. Hey, yes, you. If you're enjoying this episode and want to be part of the DWHYA community, don't forget to leave a review, drop a comment, and rate the podcast. It helps us grow and keep the conversation going. Thank you.
You see, now I just described my own household.
Yeah.
But I also I need to put into context that we were 3 girls.
Yes, put the
I have
context.
2 sisters.
Yeah.
Meaning, my dad was outnumbered.
He was, for sure.
This was 1 man.
4 women.
Let me do the math. 4 women.
Yeah.
My dad also has a lot of sisters. He's also the only boy as well, and has a lot of sisters, and the first son. When you also put that context, he's clearly been around
a lot of
had
women.
to be around like women, and how we are raised as girls is very different from how boys are raised.
100%.
And that shows up being very much so general. So as someone like yourself, right?
Yeah.
Who, yes, you still have 3 girls in your household, but then there was a boy.
Yes.
How would you say you saw these gender roles sort of show up in your own dynamic?
Yeah. It was so interesting because for the most part, we were all raised with the, like, similar values, similar, like my brother, I don't remember him being told not to express himself. I mean, not from my parents, I would say that. I think from extended family, though, you would hear like that, you're a big boy now. I think the biggest difference I would say was when it came to like kitchen and cooking. And I remember like, I still just had a conversation with one of my friends recently because he was like, I don't know how to cook. You know, my sisters always cooked. And I said, that's one thing I would always pride myself in and my sisters in, because we would hear our brother upstairs playing his PS5, kicking, and we're in the kitchen slaving away. And one day we really were like, no. Because the way the house was, you could actually hear him like, go.
Yeah.
You know, you could hear his game. And one day we just told my mom like, enough. This boy must join us downstairs, because there was a routine. And I always tell people, I loved cooking. Like I actually went to culinary school. This is a fun fact a lot of people don't know. I went to culinary school because I loved cooking. I loved that aspect of just learning new recipes and whatever.
So was that your choice?
That was my choice. But guess what? Being raised a girl in a Nigerian household ruined that for me. It totally ruined it for me, because it took away the passion from me, and it now became like this expectation, this responsibility. And I was just like, there'll be times where I would want to go and hang out with my friends, and if my mom is not around, or even if my mom was around, we cannot go out until we have food on the table. Mind you, my brother has been out since 10 a.m. running the streets with his friends. So that used to piss me off so bad, because I'm like, Ibrahim has gone out and I'm still here. And then one thing about him, it'd be like, I'll still pick you up, but I'm like, dang, I still have to dress up, I have to shower, because now you're smelling of food. So I think the biggest
flashback.
So when people don't understand, when I tell them like, I don't know how to cook, like, not that I don't know how to cook, I don't love cooking. And I try to explain it to them. A lot of people are like, oh, you're just being like anti whatever. And I'm like, no, you don't understand the trauma. Me, as a child, having to be there doing amala in the kitchen because I know my dad is about to be home. And if he's not home and there's no food on the table, that's going to be a problem. So I think when it came to like emotions or like, you know, putting certain values on us, it was the same. But the big difference was when it came to kitchen and it was, I think it was more specific to cooking, because when it comes to chores, my mom don't play. Everyone's cleaning the house. Like we're all wiping, we're all sweeping. Your room has to be clean. But when it just came to that kitchen, I feel like that the message was, you are the one that cooks for your husband. You are the one that provides these certain aspects of nurture to in your relationship. And that's the part where my sisters and I were like, absolutely not. Bring this boy downstairs. And guess what? Ibrahim can cook, and he tells us, thank you for that. You're welcome.
I love that you were resistant to like, or you rejected it. Like you rejected the narrative. You're like, no, he's going to. Yeah. Because a lot of people who I've met who had brothers will tell you, like, they didn't really have a choice. And that their brothers would even say, go and serve your brother as well and your dad. I'll tell you this too as well, just going off of those gender roles, right? Like who feeds the family. Yeah. It's still something that's triggering. But I have made so much progress in it in a way that's been very healing. Yeah. for me, because similar to yourself, it was the exact same experience. And imagine having all girls. So it was this idea of like, daddy is the best. We are making food for daddy. We're dishing food for daddy. Daddy is coming back home. Oh my God, we have to clean. We have to this. We have to that. We have to running up and down, where even to some degree, the power dynamics became very clear.
Yes.
And became very evident that, and of course, you see that in very similar households as well. It became very evident that there is more value that seems to be placed on the father, who is the provider, the protector, blah, 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 and whatnot. Even if he may not be around all the time, or he may not be present and consistently sort of there to be able to build like a healthy attachment with you as a child, there is still value being placed on that. So easily, what does that tell you? That the other things that the other parent does, no less value. Yeah. So we're not saying there isn't value.
Yeah, it just becomes less
value. So imagine as girls being raised to really be wives, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
You know how they say?
Yeah.
This idea of be able to take care of a home, be able to learn how to cook and whatnot. So as girls being raised with the other attributes.
You're right.
But then I'm also observing and seeing that, but there doesn't seem to be that much value being placed here, the way there is value being placed there. So to some degree, I'm going to be honest with you, I also was, I guess you could call it culinary school, in the sense where my mom's friend, who was like a chef or a professional caterer and whatnot, she told her for a full day, she taught me the science of cooking. And trust me, I'm very grateful for it, for myself, and like for the skill set.
I've been training down in the kitchen
for this, exactly. And we've eaten each other's food, so
for me and my very close friends.
I'm grateful for us in the sense where we would just be, I love, like, say for example, I love when you're coming over to my house and I get to feed you. Like, it excites me so much. I
have a picture of you feeding me.
It excites me so much. Just the way I'm sure you love when I came over, when I spent some time in your house recently, and I was so excited to be fed by you as well. So it was more for that.
Right.
Like, I appreciate that. But then for me, I loved that I got that lesson because it's really helped me.
Yeah.
However, I rejected it. I detested it because it came with obligation and responsibility.
Yes.
It came with, that was not a no. It was, I wake up at 6 a.m. and I meal prep my dad's breakfast, lunch, everything that he's going to take to work.
I have flashbacks.
At 6 a.m. in the morning. And the worst part was, because I was taught, I think out of all my sisters, like, I was the one who got like that one-on-one direct experience. And at that time, I think my older sister had gone to school too. It became this thing where, because I became so good at making the food, then it was like, everybody wants you to make. So
that's the worst.
It came back around. And I would remember, like, my dad would obviously call from work and be telling like his people and saying, everyone is eating your food here and they love it, and they're like, wow, you're the best daughter ever. And it just used to make me cringe. And I think it got to a point where I rejected those roles that were attached to that gender, right? But then I used to romanticize, or I guess I idealize my dad's role, being the person who made money, being the person who, like, oh, so if you make money, you have a voice. If you this and you that, you get the person that pursued their career trajectory, and nobody really was telling you like you can't.
Right.
Being the person who you also recognize that people seemingly already just respect you, whereas you seem like you need to earn some type of respect. So in just observing that, I noticed how, for me, it became the opposite, where a lot of my own daydreaming as a child was owning my own business, being my own boss, doing my own thing, getting my own I don't know if it was getting my own degree because I wasn't that smart in school, but at least being my own boss and making my own money, which is so interesting to think about.
Right. I love these reflections because they're really this throwback, flashback.
Not us triggering each other.
Oh my God, the big flashbacks. But you know, I think the good thing that came out of those is us recognizing that we don't have to play that role and we don't have to fall into this conditioning. After a while, you start to reflect and you're like, something's not 100% right. Again, not to say that those are bad things bad values to put on your children, but not in a way of like, it's a role, it's an expectation. Let me tell you one funny story before I dive into the next question. I just remembered as you were talking, like there was also my dad always worked. He was never home for the most part. And I remember like they would always put on my brother as like, you're the man of the house now. And I'm just thinking to myself now, as we're having this conversation, I'm thinking 10-year-old brother. In his mind, he probably like, yeah, I'm the man and he has to take up on that role. Like, and I'm just imagining the pressure. That's just a random sidetrack, but I'm just imagining my gosh. It's the little things that you say that starts playing a role in how it affects us as adults and how we interact, not only with ourselves, but with other people.
Yes, that conditioning already at 10.
Yes, exactly. So young. But just wanted to also dive back into it. So in all this performance and all this conditioning that people are doing, do you think that sometimes people are performing these behaviors in relationships simply because they believe that's what a good man, emphasis on, and I'm putting in air quotes, y'all cannot see me, a good man or what a good woman is supposed to do? Because, and I'm saying why I put in air quotes, is because a lot of people think if you don't play into these roles, into these expectations, that you're not good, you're not fit, you're not ready to be in a relationship. So that's why I'm putting in air quotes. So what do you think?
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I absolutely think that. Even I'm very guilty of that as well. And sorry, I just had a flashback of it. Something my therapist said. Nobody can see me. You can see. You saw the reaction where he was giving that so Raven. You know Raven in that so Raven. She's like, whoa.
I said, damn, that's a real flashback.
No, for real though. Yes, very much so, because the expectation is that it's going to lead to an outcome.
Yeah.
So you be a good woman, you get a good man.
Yeah. Yep.
Or you be a good man, you get a good woman. You be a good woman and maybe they would love you the way you want to be loved.
Right.
You be a good man and maybe people will see you and respect you.
Yeah.
The way you would want to. And this narratives of course, like a good man provides.
Yeah, a good man leads.
A good man, and like say for example, we say a good father does not leave his relationship, but he can also be the same person that's causing havoc.
Clock it, yeah.
But well, a good father doesn't leave.
Well, he stayed, so right?
He stayed, and it can really put us in a position where we become people who perform for approval.
Right. Yep.
And it can be very dangerous when we actually are rewarded for our performance and set behavior, right? Where I think you've obviously heard a lot of people, it's funny that I say this, but I take a lot of what I see on social media, especially like trends, and I take it very loosely. I don't read too much into it because we know there's no filter on social media, but I'm sure you've seen things where people would say, don't be giving wife benefits or don't be acting like a wife for a girlfriend role. Don't be this or this and whatnot, because you would hear maybe a woman talk about, I cooked and I did his laundry and I did this and I did all of that and I made his bed and I borrowed him money and I all of these things. You just hear a lot. I took care of his kids and whatnot, and still with every single thing you didn't get the approval that you were seeking.
Yeah.
So it can be detrimental both ways, where if you get the approval, then you're consistently working towards maintaining it.
Right.
Or if you don't, you're consistently disappointed and feeling like you need to do more.
Right.
Or I hardly ever see situations where people are like, oh, I need to be healthy and I need to do less in a healthy way, or I just need to adjust and do it for the right person. You see people kind of go from either I'm giving so much or I'm giving nothing.
Less, right.
Giving so much, I'm giving nothing. So absolutely, I do agree. What do you think? Like, would you say as well that this is the case?
I 100% agree. I love that you said the performance, because I do think that a lot of people don't show up as their authentic selves because they're busy playing that role and they're busy performing. And again, when they don't get that validation, it starts leading to resentment. And honestly, all this role playing is exhausting. I'm sorry. After like 2 weeks of role playing, I'm be like, listen, my true character is coming out. Because I'm
See
tired.
your true colors shining through.
But yeah, you're performing instead of being authentic, and all of those is like, why are we acting based off other people's validation rather than showing up in our true selves? And I feel like it doesn't give the relationship a chance to actually thrive in partnership, because it just ends up being this. It's not real. It's not a real realistic relationship. It's just a fallacy of what we want those relationships to look like. So you're right. And I think the problem with that though is, you're quietly being exhausted, or you come on social media and you complain, or, you just start resenting your partner. And sometimes, I'm not saying that sometimes partners don't put that role or put that expectation on us, but at the end of the day, we also sometimes need to advocate for ourselves and communicate and set boundaries rather than playing a role or playing that conditioned role, basically.
Hey, yes, you. If you're enjoying this episode and want to be part of the DWHYA community, don't forget to leave a review, drop a comment, and rate the podcast. It helps us grow and keep the conversation going. Thank you.
Speaking of playing a role,
I
have a confession.
I have a confession. Don't take it personal.
No more re-singing. No, but speaking of playing a role, it was maybe a couple of years ago in therapy where I, through my journey, and I've been very open. And I've been very open about, obviously, my journey in therapy. I came to the realization that I had been playing the role of, I say this very loosely because obviously I think you know what I mean when we say male-centeredness that's like attached to like gender roles in relationships, right? That male-centered perspective of like, what do I need to do as a good partner, as a good girlfriend, as a good woman,
lover.
I had been playing a good lover, right? I had been playing that role a lot in not saying in like every relationship or whatnot, no, but I had been sort of playing into that role. And I came to the realization that I had been playing into that role not because I actually believed it, not because I actually cared, because I really didn't care, because I really didn't believe it. And when, of course, you get to know me more, you see, like, you know how you said not the true colors per se, but you recognize it like, no, not necessarily. That's not
her.
Who this person is per se. But I had been feeding into it in an unhealthy way because I was too afraid to just show up as me. Because I knew already me showing up as me was going to cause issues. I was going to cause problems because as a kid, I had already seen that. I was already a kid who played football / soccer and was a kid who was in an all boys team. I was the only girl. And the way I even had to like push to do what I wanted to do. I was a kid who dressed like a boy. According to how they would say it. I just called it, I dressed how I wanted to dress.
Just dressing, yeah.
It's the same way in which I played soccer and did taekwondo, but also was a ballerina.
Period.
You see where I'm going with that?
Yes, yeah.
Where for me it was like, I just want to do what I want to do. I don't really see, well, what do you mean, boy, girl? I don't really get it per se.
Yeah.
And I think for me, it almost made me at some point in time in my life feel like, do I have to identify as like gender fluid just so I can exist as a woman?
Right.
Who I know I am a woman and I love being a woman, but I express myself and I enjoy expressing myself in many different ways. It's not attached to gender roles or expectations.
Right.
So I found myself, because a lot of times, obviously, people had a lot to say.
Of course.
When I was younger.
Of course.
It was almost put as like you are disgracing us by dressing like this or like acting like this. Why do you want to do this? At this very mixed messages. And then also, unfortunately, having, say for example, being in like a boys team and then having some boys in that team think like it's okay for them to also like cross boundaries with you.
Right.
So you start to understand the world that you live in to some degree, and you start to play into that, not because that's who you are necessarily. And it wasn't until recently in therapy that my therapist and I, we came to that realization. I was like, interesting.
Right. And, thank you for sharing that and being vulnerable. And I, just hearing you talk, I'm like, this is how a lot of people end up being somebody else rather than who they are. Because like I was saying earlier, you're trying to take the world as your oyster and not play into a role and just be human, to be honest, because everything exists on a spectrum. It doesn't have to be this or that. But if they try to like put you in this bracket and in this box, sometimes you start feeling like, I don't have any other way to be but to fit in that box. And that's why you start seeing a lot of people playing in that role. So it's kind of sad. It's very sad, but it's also like, I'm very happy to hear that you got that cathartic moment in therapy, because to be honest, and maybe I want you to know that since I've known you, Sha, you've always been Paula. Like, you've always done what you wanted. It's something that I always admired. So, I'm so glad that you didn't really I don't know what personal struggles you may have faced, but I just want you to know, from outside looking in, like, you've always been somebody that has always been herself, done her thing without care. So
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
I guess what I want to ask you, just as we're talking about this, how in many relationships, one partner ends up carrying the emotional maintenance.
Yeah.
One partner ends up doing a lot of the check-ins, repairing conflict, and noticing when something feels off, or at least the partner who is very much so the driver, like the one that is working above and beyond to ensure that the relationship is at its best, or at least its healthiest.
Yeah.
Do you think gender roles influence who ends up being the person who does that work?
Absolutely, for the most part. Yeah. Yeah. Because I think
you're looking like that.
I'm reflecting. Oh my God, my bad. I didn't know my face.
I'm
just reflecting because, like I was saying earlier, from a young age, we're all just socialized with our genders. Okay, girls are supposed to be more emotionally attuned. They share more, express how you feel. And boys are supposed to be more strong and brave. And when I say strong and brave, that means like you're not expressing your emotions. You kind of present like you don't even have emotions. You're just there to kind of make decisions and figure things out. And I think that happens in a lot of cultures, because I'm thinking specifically Nigerian culture, but even coming to America, being in England, like just experiencing all these various cultures, I think it's very evident that women are more socialized to be emotionally attuned and responsible for maintaining connection. So
women may naturally just take on that role of managing the emotional balance in the relationship, like always being the one like, are you okay? Like, what's wrong? Let's talk about our days in detail rather than, I'm good. Yeah, I'm fine. Work was okay. I think that emotional maintenance is a shared responsibility because we're humans. Outside of gender, we are still humans first. If one person ends up carrying that weight, not only does it create an imbalance, it creates this role, again, that we've been talking about, where the woman feels like she's the one that needs to maintain that balance, and the man doesn't care for that and focuses more on like, oh, I need to lead the house and I need to be the provider. I can't show emotions. Even with all that provision and carrying all that roles, it comes with a lot of emotions. I wish that I wish society didn't condition men to act like they just have to take on all of those things without express, because it's a lot of stress. And why as your partner do I have to start pulling things out of you when I know, because I'm going through my own process, I know that if I'm feeling this way, you must be feeling the exact way. So it creates that imbalance that could be very stressful. And I think a lot of women do that pulling, and you would hear a lot of men say like, my partner is my safe space. She brings out this part of me, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, as much as I have weird feelings about it, because I'm like, yes, it's nice that you have a partner that supports you. But again, it almost sounds like you're putting that role on her. Why is she having to play that role of pulling your emotions out when it could be a balanced thing? I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense.
It is, and it's really highlighting on a lot. And it's also making me even think about, and I want to, I guess, add a layer to the question I asked you.
Yeah.
We're also therapists.
Yeah. Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We're also therapists, and it's like, ooh, it's a blessing, but it also comes with its challenges.
Yeah.
Because you almost are looked at as a person who's assuming that role already.
Yeah.
Oh. Have you seen that happen in your own relationship and how you also show up in relationships and those experiences where it became your responsibility without you even asking for it or even sort of putting yourself in that position?
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think that something I learned about myself recently was that I like to be the peacemaker. So I would apologize very quickly, or like, I would just take up all the responsibility. Like, you're right. Like, maybe it's my fault. Like, I should have done something. And I think also in my romantic relationships, I used to do that. Actually, it's worse in romantic relationships because I'm like, I just don't want to fight with you. Like, I want us to just be fine. And taking up that role of just always taking the peace, and like, I don't want to be the person like, oh, my girlfriend is always causing problems, or Aisha always has something to say kind of vibe. So I think, yes, I noticed that I was playing that role of just trying to keep the peace together, or if I am communicating, I will downplay it to the T. Like, I will downplay it to the T, to the point where I'm like, dang, I'm not even saying what I really want to say, but I guess this counts as something. And guess what? Even with that, people will still be mad. And I'm like, bro, this is not even really what I want to say in my heart, right? So, just to go back to your question, I do find that it's very easy. And in my friend groups, sometimes I also think that if there was, I'm laughing because I've had a couple friends that we went to Bridge House together, whatever. And I think people just had distance. And I think when there's distance between two people, not necessarily affecting me, I kind of take up the role of like, oh, come and see her perspective now, and come and see her perspective. And one day my friend told me,
peacemaker.
Girl, one day my friend told me, Aisha, you better not go and do peacemaker, because I said, oh, okay, well, thank you, because you're right. Because how am I in it? I'm not in it. But in my mind, I'm like, dang, this is a friendship that we had. Like, this also changes the dynamic in the group, and I don't want it to be a whole thing. So I'm like, it would be better if we all get along. But sometimes people grow apart, and that's fine. So I'm learning, like, as a therapist, as a human being, just be minding your business. Do your own thing. Have your own boundaries. What about you? How does it show up for you in your...
It's as I was listening to you as well, it's just like, I'm quite grateful to be in a place now where I'm a lot more, what's the word? Is it vigilant or mindful?
Mindful. About
being the peacemaker. I guess maybe that's why we're good therapists, because
right?
even in high school, I was voted peacemaker, like most likely to be a peace.
Not you in the yearbook.
Yeah, I don't. No. I don't remember what year it was. Maybe year 3 or something, where there was something that they were doing, and they were giving people different beatitudes, or what's it called? Beatitudes in Bible. Different. The person who's this, the person who's that, the person. So the person who's peacemaker, and they're like, hey.
Paula,
and I remember feeling so great. And
people come to me for their problems. I saw
because I was already I was even the child in my family dynamic who was a peacemaker, and I think there is obviously blessing in that.
Yep.
Everyone has different things that is just a skill set in them that they use. But I've also recognized, like, it's not your job.
Yeah, girl.
It's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
You don't have to do anything.
Chaos. Sometimes let be chaos.
Sometimes the best way you can make peace, and like the best way you can support people also, is just by praying. Like, pray for them.
Oh, you know what? You're right.
And let them figure it out.
You're 100% right.
That has been my new thing now. Just like, I'll just pray for them.
You're 100% right.
And let God
heal
it out for them.
God is the ultimate healer. Let him heal. But wait, I wanted to ask you though, but do you think people come to you directly? Because I found that sometimes when people obviously know about our skills and just us being professionals, the way the conversation will start, it will not be very direct. Before you know, you're like, why is this? Why is this looking like a therapy session? Have you had people that have come to you like directly just because they know that? Why are you laughing?
I don't know if it's just that I feel like I have so much going on in my life.
Yeah.
Right now, that I think sometimes when you have so much going on in your life, it helps you set stronger boundaries. But I would definitely say that I have had people who directly come and people who don't.
Yeah.
And because it comes so natural to you sometimes as a therapist, you don't even recognize.
Right.
To some degree. I think how I've been able to just filter is just more of, do I have capacity for this or do I not? Do I have capacity for this or do I not? I literally just check in
boundaries
with myself and find a way to, that 2-step verification thing where it's before you respond, before you this, before you that. I just check, do I have capacity? And is this something that can be outsourced?
Yeah.
Or is this something where you do feel it is like there's a pull from you that is wanting to step in to sort of help. Not because you're trying to do savior complex.
Right.
Not because you're trying to this. Not because you're trying to be peacemaker. So also checking with my ego as well. If I'm not feeling led to...
What's the point? Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
At least I've been trying to do a lot more of that, because I think it is the work that we do. I don't think we really recognize how heavy and how serious that work is. So imagine having a lot of that play out, those dynamics play out in your personal life as well. When do you get a break?
It's
to
exhausting.
Just be?
It's so exhausting.
And I think because for me, I have friends in my life right now, and I've had friends in my life right now who are such solid emotional support that being on the receiving end of somebody else's emotional support and just care and where like you can get to just be, it makes you also recognize that, we need that.
Yeah.
We're not just the people who care. Like, we don't have to always be the person who's having to, because that's our job as therapists, to be fair, like to care for the mental health and emotions.
Yeah.
I'm not saying caring from that perspective. I'm also saying there is a lot of time and effort being put into really working with people and their mental and emotional well-being, that care has to be put back into ourselves. So now I feel like I'm in a place where I maybe low-key kind of avoid people who I know it's very, whether it's direct or not.
It's gonna be exhausting.
More of care from me. And I'm wanting to seek more people who I can also receive care from.
Absolutely. I love that reflection, because you're right. Not a lot of people know how heavy our job is. I think they really think we're just sitting there talking, chatting all day.
I
wish, because it is a lot of emotional work, and we're constantly giving to other people, where it's so easy to burn out if you're not getting that care elsewhere as well. So I love that you said that you have the boundaries of, it's true. We know the people in our lives, so we know what we're getting into. So it's always good to be like, this one I'm not picking up today, because I know you're going to take from me when I don't feel like my cup is very full, versus somebody else where it's like, all right, and I found that in my own relationships, people, I'm going to be like, this is not therapy, but I'm just telling you, these are your options. What you should do is seek your own therapy for more observe, because I'm going to be biased anyway. So I cannot I'm going to be very subjective. I'm not going to be objective. So it may not be the best solution for you. Thanks for that reflection. And speaking of relationships, do you think modern relationships are genuinely moving beyond traditional gender roles, or are we just replacing them with new expectations? I like this question. I really like this question.
Can you repeat that?
Okay. Do you think modern relationships are moving genuinely beyond traditional gender roles? Because on the internet, a lot of people you see it looking more like partnerships, or like showing that there aren't really like it's not really gender roles, like a partnership. Or do you think that we're replacing them with new expectations? I have thoughts about that.
I think yes and no. Right? In the sense where, yes, to be fair, they are moving not beyond traditional gender roles, but they are like way less rigid. More flexible. At the same time, there's still newer expectations in today's day and age that even I have confusion about sometimes.
Right.
A lot of confusion about. And I do think that, yes, to some degree, people aren't so fixated on traditional roles in a way as it's funny, because I don't even know if when we were honing in on traditional roles, if we were saying, the message was that's the key to a successful
relationship
and a successful marriage. And I guess people have recognized that, okay, that's not the key. So it's easier to not fully hone into it when that's not the reality, based off of seeing the relationships in your own trajectory, in your own
dynamic environment,
own support system, your environment and whatnot. There's also the world that we live in today, where finances, the economy, it's not as easy as it used to be. Where unfortunately people need to be in split income households. If possible, both parents are working full time. So that's even less of you not wanting to be traditional and more of you being just realistic. You're functioning based off of the reality of the world that you live in. And then the newer expectations that are coming up, where for some reason men, or let's say today now, a lot more men realizing that, financial security and stability isn't the only thing. Emotional stability is also required of me, and maybe even more. at the same time, I'm also still supposed to pursue. I'm also still... So you get where I'm going with that, where
there's a lot of conflictual feelings.
And whereas with women, obviously, we're in the day of independence, financial stability for ourselves. At the same time, how do we work with showing up as these people in our professional life and our trajectory, building businesses, building brands, building podcasts,
period. Yes,
and whatnot, and being bosses, while also allowing ourselves to be vulnerable,
right,
and be emotionally nurturing. We're not saying be nurturers, we're saying being emotionally nurturing, because everyone should have that. There is that. We're still figuring it out.
Yeah.
And I think what we as a society fail at sometimes is that we see the world too rigid.
Yeah.
Like, we see what is not... Life is so unpredictable and so random and so...
Not in our control.
It's so not in our control, but in the sense where the only things that we are aware of fully are the days that we've already had, not the days that like we're yet to have.
Yeah.
But somehow we operate, society still encourages us to operate from a black and white, all or nothing rigid perspective.
Yeah.
And the rigidity around these roles is what honestly puts people in positions where they fail themselves in how they end up choosing partners.
Yes.
How they end up choosing to show up in relationships.
Yeah.
And all of that being emphasized and reinforced by social media culture and like dating culture as well, just adds a different layer when we could easily be looking at who we are, and let's say
what's
roles,
real for us, right?
We're defining these roles tailored to who we are,
right?
Tailored to our identity, tailored to our sense of self,
right?
There's a flexibility in that,
and
unfortunately we don't see it in that way. We see it as like a one formula that works for everyone, and no one marriage is the same, no one relationship is the same, no one person is
nothing is the same. Yeah.
So when you really think about it from that perspective, you're like, yeah, I see how modern relationships might be moving away from traditional gender roles because there's rigidity there, but they can also be moving towards newer expectations that can also have rigidity as well if we're not careful.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think?
I think I agree with everything that you've said. I think that at least this generation, it sounds like something that is more evolving. Like, people are trying to figure it out, because I think a lot of people are recognizing that being, like you were saying, like being strict and rigid with these roles leads to a lot of internal suffering, and then you end up failing, the relationship fails, and the same society that put those expectations on you ends up kind of criticizing you and blames you. So I think a lot of people are being more aware and being more realistic with, and there's nothing wrong with, I just want to say this because I don't think there's like the traditional roles, they're good. I think they are good foundations that everybody should have, like men, women, or however you identify. It becomes a problem, I think, when it's only specific to one gender versus the other. Like, I think these are all good values that everybody should have, but being realistic and being your authentic self, being able to identify, how can I show up in my relationship versus... I have to show up this way, right? There's a difference. How can I, or do I really feel comfortable showing up like this versus I feel like I have to? Because the one is you are going to be your authentic self and you end up enjoying building this partnership with your partner, versus the other, it becomes this role playing that could lead to exhaustion and resentment. I'm talking too much. That can lead to exhaustion and resentment, and would lead to a fail of the relationship. So I definitely agree with you that people are evolving more and people are recognizing that there can be flexibility and it doesn't have to be this or that. There's gray room, and people can make their own rooms. Like, I see couples on social media, whether it's true or not, creating their own rules, and they get a lot of criticism and people saying, oh, you're too feminine for the man, or the woman, you're letting your woman be masculine, whatever. And sometimes I'm just like, what's your own? Is it your marriage? Is it your partnership? Because
it's all these buzzwords.
Yes.
Too feminine, too this, too masculine.
Oh, I would never let that happen. First of all, where's your relationship even let it happen? Not to be rude, but but like, shots fired. All of you are just projecting. Mind your business. Mind your business. Let people be themselves. But I do like when I see, again, it could all be a role playing or acting for us, because I don't think anything on social media is real. But when I see that, like, certain relationships and people are just doing their own thing, I'm like, like, as you should, you know, you don't have to fall into a box. Society tries to put us into boxes. And as you can hear, I'm so tired of I'm actually really exhausted of people trying to push us into boxes when people try to be different. Let people expand outside the box. Maybe they don't want to be a box. Maybe they want to be in a triangle. What's your own? Let people be themselves.
Yeah. But you know, though, that, which is so true, but you also know that even for a lot of people, boxes are safe.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
Labels, just the way labels feel safe. They feel like, okay, something that at least it feels safe, protective. It says it can help to some degree, because the unknown and can be scary. Not fully. You have to ask yourself that question, right? Like, why are we so fixated on boxes? There's clearly there's something that you have to be getting from it that is making you reinforce that even when you know it's not working. I also think, besides just the safety as well, some people are also afraid. Like, they're afraid to actually want what they really want, and like afraid to put it out there, because what if they get rejected? Like, what if they don't get it?
That's true,
right?
That's true.
It can even be more heartbreaking that they allow themselves to dream beyond their reality, and then of course get disappointed. Like, now, my ideal relationship, I want to be I am a nurturer, whether I like it or not. And it's not about my gender, it's who I am.
Same here.
I am a physical nurturer, a mental nurturer, an emotional nurturer, whatever you want to call it. But I also desire to be nurtured.
It's not just
as
your role, right?
And when I find myself in relationships where my nurturing becomes a role, not by choice, but by design of relationship,
my
and
expectation,
who I'm in a relationship with, and it may not even be the expectation, but it's just because they're
not even trying to be.
They're not nurturers. They're not trying to be. They're just naturally not nurturers. They're not trying to be. Or, like you say, maybe they are influenced by expectations and beliefs that it is my job. My nurturing becomes something I detest in myself.
Absolutely.
Is what I've learned. Just the way in which with the cooking.
Triggered.
For the longest time, I was just like, ooh. And then it's so funny how the healthiest relationships, or at least the relationships that are right for you, show you that. And even in friendships, I'm not even just talking romantic, just the way I talked about it, the excitement that we get
from
when I
each
knew
other,
that you were coming, and like your sister was coming, and I'm like, like, so excited. Clearly, it is in you, but the wrong people and the wrong relationships will absolutely put you in a position where you detest.
Absolutely.
That's in yourself. So that's not rigid. That has nothing to do with gender.
That's just you being you.
That just has to do with who we are as people, and finding people who also see the flexibility in that and are not attaching it to gender roles and expectations. And it's not saying that they're not things that naturally fall, where you might say a woman might be might or you think that, yeah, maybe she might be better at doing this and the man might be better at doing that, and whatnot. Some of these things are true, but not all the time.
Agreed.
As we're wrapping up this conversation, Aisha, what do you think couples need to talk about more openly when it comes to roles and expectations in their relationships?
Hey, yes, you. If you're enjoying this episode and want to be part of the DWHYA community, don't forget to leave a review, drop a comment, and rate the podcast. It helps us grow and keep the conversation going. Thank you.
Couple needs to, English. Couple. I'm sorry. Couples need to talk, period. Couples need to talk. Talk more openly, more freely, without judgment, without, just be honest and free to express yourselves, because these invisible expectations will come up. So you need to have conversations about that. Little things, how are decisions made? How is emotional support shared? What does responsibility look like? Am I the one always cooking? You need to have these conversations, because each person in the relationship needs to feel like they're valued and respected, and not just not acting based off a role or an expectation.
Absolutely.
And I just think couples need to talk. Open your mouth, talk, because I was in shock recently when I read somewhere that people are just getting married and not having full-blown conversations. You are going to find out. You are going to mess around and find out, and you're not going to be happy. No, it's true. Because if you end up just being like, she's my wife, he's my husband, he will do this. My dear, the shock that is waiting for you, you won't like it. So couples need to
hit you like a wrecking ball.
Yeah. And let me tell you something. Just because someone has been showing up for you in a certain way or playing a certain role while you were dating, doesn't mean that's exactly what would be mirrored in a marriage. So you need to talk. Like, you actually need to open your mouth. How do you like to be valued? How do you like to be respected? How do you like to show up for your partner? How do you like your partner to show up for you? Talk, open, communicate. Sorry, I'm just talking. What about you?
Preach. Preach. I think you hit the nail on the head with this one. Talk.
Yes, talk.
Literally.
That's the lesson.
Do not be afraid to, let's put it this way. If you are going to jump off a bridge, like bungee jump, you would probably ask a million questions. Does it this? Will this? Then nobody is really thinking, right? You're not really going, am I asking too many questions? You're like, this is my life.
Right.
It's my life, so I value it. So I want to know what you have in preparation if something goes wrong. You ask all the questions. I don't think we treat choosing life partners like that. We don't sort of look at it as like, this is my life. So asking questions, like you said, and talking like your life depends on it, because your life actually does depend.
It really does. It truly does, because the wrong person can change the trajectory of your life in a very bad way. So please talk, communicate, be honest, because guess what? From talking, you get to find if people are for you or not, and that's okay. Somebody else will be out there waiting for you, but you can't find out if you're just telling yourself, no, this has to be it. I'm being in denial. No. Talk.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yes.
And with that being said, no pun intended, this was a very reflective and flashbacky conversation.
The flashbacks. I need to journal after this.
That is such a good point. I think I will do some journaling today too.
I need to journal.
Or maybe meditation. Okay.
Yes. Look at us.
To continue this conversation.
Yes.
We ask that you follow us. We ask that you give your reviews, type your reviews, leave your reviews. It's so important. We ask that you engage with our content as well, and how to do so or where to do so is through Instagram at DWHYA podcast. The same thing, DWHYA podcast for Twitter /X. And DWHYA podcast 1 for TikTok. And if you choose to email, you can also email us at info@dwhyapodcast.com. And you can also find me at Paula.b.Martins. And Aisha,
You can
where
find
can our
me
listeners find you?
at ab.popoola on Instagram and TikTok. And with that being said, thank you for listening.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye. Do We Have Your Attention podcast is executively produced by Paula B. Martins and Aisha Popoola, with co-production by Kyra Dosumu Ogundigbe.